Okay, so every chord is a letter name plus a type. The letter plus the sharp or flat tells you where to go on the fretboard, and the type tells you the shape to make. So this first progression, we're going to do G sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and D sharp. So if you look at the note list, G is at the 3rd fret, so G sharp is up 1 fret at the 4th fret. It means go to the 4th fret when you see G sharp. And then because there's no M or 7, it's major by default. The major for that string looks like this. Bar, middle finger on the 3rd string, that's on the 5th fret. And then pinky on the 4th string, that's on the 6th fret. And ring on the 5th string, that's on the 6th fret. So that's what we call G sharp or a G sharp major. It's major by default unless it has an M or 7. C sharp or C sharp major is the exact same thing except you move up to C sharp. C is at the 8th fret, so C sharp, 9th fret. Move it 1 up, still major. Then go back to G sharp, 4th fret, same shape. And then D sharp, D is at the 10th fret, so D sharp is at the 11th fret. Make the same shape, it's major. Just so you see this, the next chord progression right next to that is A flat, D flat, A flat, E flat. Those are the same chords written out with flats. So if you look, A is at the 5th fret, A flat is at the 4th fret. A flat is the same thing as G sharp. And same thing here, C sharp is at the 9th fret, well D is at the 10th fret, D flat is at the 9th fret. So C moved up is the same as D moved down. C sharp is the same as D flat. Every one of those sharp and flat notes has 2 names. So D flat, 9th fret, A flat, 4th fret, E flat, 11th fret. E flat, E moved down, 12th fret moved down is 11th fret, is the same as D moved up, D sharp. D is at the 10th fret, D sharp is at the 11th. E is at the 12th fret, E flat is at the 11th. So D sharp and E flat are the same chord. So there's 2 chord progressions you see on the first line. G sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and D sharp. The same as A flat, D flat, A flat, and E flat. Just another way of writing out the notes. Boom. Same notes, they're called enharmonic notes. Same notes, different spellings. Okay, the next chord progression we did that chord progression, we just called it G sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp. Next chord progression was an A sharp, an F sharp, a G sharp, and A sharp. So if you look at the notes, A is at the 5th fret. If you move it up to the 6th fret, so it's A sharp. And because there's no minor or 7th there, it's major by default. It's always major unless you see an M or a 7. So A sharp is A moved up, major. 6th fret with a major chord. F is at the 1st fret, so F sharp is at the 2nd fret, major. G sharp we already did, G is at the 3rd fret, G sharp is at the 4th fret, major. And back to A sharp, 6th fret. So that chord progression, A sharp, F sharp, G sharp, and back to A sharp. That's the same thing as the next chord progression you see, which is B flat, G flat, A flat, and B flat. So if we just did these notes, B is at the 7th fret, B flat is moved down, 6th fret. G is at the 3rd fret, so G flat is at the 2nd fret. A is at the 5th fret, so A flat is at the 4th fret. B flat. Those are the same notes we just played. A sharp, F sharp, G sharp, and A sharp is the same as B flat, G flat, A flat, and B flat. And again, those are all major because there's no M's or 7's in the name of the chord. It's just a letter name plus a sharp or flat. Those are major by default. Middle finger on the 3rd string. Okay, so the next line is all minor chords. There's a G, 3rd fret, and the difference between major and minor is that you lift up, when you're on the 6th string, you lift up your middle finger. So it sounds like this. Sounds sadder. Major sounds happy, and minor sounds sad. That's G minor. C is at the 8th fret. C minor is just that shape. So C is the note, minor is the chord type, the shape. G, back at the 3rd fret, minor again. D is at the 10th fret on the 6th string, and you make a minor chord again. So this chord progression sounds like this. D minor. Cool. And next one, still minor chords. A is at the 5th fret, A flat is at the 4th fret, minor. D is at the 10th fret, so D flat is at the 9th fret, minor chord. E is at the 12th fret, so E flat is at the 11th fret, make it minor. So that E minor, A flat minor, D flat minor, E flat minor, back to A flat minor. Okay, next line has a little bit of every chord. There's a B flat, it's major, it doesn't have an M or a 7, so B flat, B is at the 7th fret, B flat is at the 6th fret, make it major. D is at the 10th fret, and the 7 just means it's like a major chord, but lift up your pinky. There's an optional note there, we're not going to worry about it. The one in parentheses, don't worry about it. And then G is at the 3rd fret, and that says M, so we're going to make it minor, lift up your middle finger. And then there's an E flat and E flat minor. So E is at the 12th fret, E flat is the 11th fret, that's where the E flat is. And then the first one is just E flat, that's major, use your middle finger. And E flat minor is the same, just lift up your middle finger. You still have an E flat, but minor shape. So we get a B flat, a D7, lift up your pinky, an E flat major, and then E flat minor. G minor, E flat, and E flat minor. We can do some little pull-offs and things that'll make it interesting. We didn't do this one, but the next one is an A major. So A, no minor or 7th, so it's major. A is at the 5th fret, major. C sharp, C is at the 8th fret, so C sharp is at the 9th fret. And again, the 7 just means lift up your pinky. F sharp, so F is at the 1st fret, F sharp is at the 2nd fret, make it minor. There's a little M there, that means lift up your middle finger. And then D is at the 10th fret, it's a D and then a D minor, so we have a D major with your middle finger, then lift up to make it minor. A, C sharp, F sharp minor, D major, D minor, back to A. Here, listen to that. A, C sharp, F sharp, D, D minor. Play over that. Those chords that create that harmony, that sound, that, that kind of feel for the chord progression. Okay, so there's one other thing we did. Just now I played all those chords looking on the 6th string for the note. So G is at the 3rd fret, A is at the 5th fret, B is at the 7th fret, C is at the 8th fret, D is at the 10th fret, so on. We can also find every single one of those chords we just played looking on the 5th string. So you ignore the 6th string notes and ignore the 6th string shapes. And we can find all those same notes on the 5th string. And when you play the notes on the 5th string, you use the shapes right below the 5th string notes. So we did G sharp, G sharp. So on the 5th string, if you look at the notes under the 5th string, G is at the 10th fret, G sharp is on the 11th fret. Remember, sharp moves the note up a fret. So G is here, 10th fret, G sharp is the 11th fret. And when you find the notes on the 5th string, use a different set of shapes. Use the shapes that are here. And for the major, we had this one. You put your ring finger on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th string. That's the same chord as this. Just different voicing of it, different place. Okay, so that's a G sharp. On the 5th string, if you look on those notes, C is at the 3rd fret on the 5th string, so C sharp is at the 4th fret, still a major. Go back to G sharp, 11th fret. And then D is at the 5th fret, so D sharp is at the 6th fret. Make a major, so that chord progression. You can play it all on the 5th string. Or before we played it like this. 6th string. Those chords are exactly the same. So this D sharp major sounds like this D sharp major. This C sharp sounds like this C sharp. Same chords. G sharp. Okay. Same thing for the A sharp, F sharp, G sharp, and A sharp, or however you name it, B flat, G flat, A flat, B flat. A is at the 12th fret. Move it up a fret for A sharp. F is at the 8th fret on the 5th string. F sharp is at the 9th fret. Make that same major chord. G is at the 10th fret. G sharp is at the 11th fret. Make it major again, you get this. A sharp, F sharp, G sharp. And another name for that chord progression instead of A sharp, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp. Same exact notes are B flat, G flat, A flat, B flat, if you name those in between notes with flats instead of sharps. Okay, same thing with the minor. We didn't get this far, but I'll show it to you. If you do G, G's at the 10th fret. The minor chord, instead of looking like this major chord, when you see that M and you're on the 5th string, instead of playing this shape, look at the picture there, and you've got a middle finger on the 2nd string, in this case the 11th fret, pinky on the 3rd string, 12th fret, ring finger on the 4th string, 12th fret. That looks just like the major chord that you had down here, this one, but it's on different strings. So again, G is at the 10th fret. The minor chord shape, if you look at the picture there, has a middle finger on the 2nd string, pinky and ring stacked up on the 3rd and 4th strings, 12th fret in this case. So that's a G minor chord. You can find a C down on the 5th fret, do the same minor chord, G minor again, and then D is at the 5th fret, make that minor, same shape. So that's where you're looking on the 5th string. Right below that, that's the minor shape we're using. You use the minor, or the root 5 shapes when you're playing notes on the root on the 5th string, the root notes on the 5th string, and you use the other shapes when you're playing the notes on the 6th string. So that's a little more than we did, but kind of showed you how to do that. And you can do all the chords that way. If I find a B flat on the 5th string, I'm down here. If I play a D7, D is on the 5th fret, 7th chord, using the 7th shape. G is on the 5th string 10th fret, make it minor. Then E flat is on the 6th fret, make it major, and then minor. And I can play that same chord progression, B flat, D7, G minor, E flat major, E flat minor, using those chords. B flat major here, 1st fret, D7, 5th fret, G minor, E flat minor. It's the same as what we did before. G, D7 up here, G minor, E flat major, and E flat minor. So for every one of those chords, you can do all those chords on the 6th string, using the notes on the 6th string and using those shapes that are beneath it. Or you can find any of those same notes on the 5th string and use the shapes that are beneath the 5th string to play the chords there. So focus on the 6th string maybe this week, and just kind of get used to those other shapes as we go. Okay, that's it. Now you can play all the chords you're ever going to see in any of these songs. Look up chords for any song, and you've got the fundamentals, what we need to really start doing some cool things with those shapes. By putting all those chords together, you get some scales, and we can do really cool licks using the scales. And so there's a ton more stuff that we can do once you get the basic chords learned. But that's the gist of how I get chords going. Those are bar chords.